Well, I don't think I've got anybody else in the chat ready to be admitted, so I shall kick off. All right, well, welcome. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday morning. I know it's hard to get everybody locked in for a time that makes sense. But I thought it would be a really nice opportunity to just have open conversations about all of our individual experiences. There are many of you in the Ellavate community right now that are navigating their perimenopausal next phase of life and these conversations with um, GPs around HRT and there are a few of you as well that are in the early stages of figuring out what the fuck this is and how you have these conversations. So I wanted just to open the floor to all of you to just share your experiences because when you share that knowledge, you're going to help somebody else navigate that same conversation. And I'll preface this call by saying, like, anything that's discussed on here is absolutely not medical advice, like, at all. It is just sharing experiences because sharing that, you guys should hopefully be able to navigate this next phase a little bit better because it is incredibly frustrating. I actually even had a couple of DMs yesterday from women that were like, "Oh my God." And like they send me voice notes because you can hear how frustrated they are with just being gaslit from the medical professionals that just are not, that are not helping at all. Wow, there's about six more girls coming in, so let me just get everybody in. Everybody's in, everybody's in. Hi, hi, hi. All right. Good morning, good morning. Thanks for joining us. If you're happy to, please put your video on. Like, we want to see some faces. Even if you just flash up and say hi. There we go. We've got Kylie, thank you. We have Dipta. Belinda, I know you're training. Hello. We got Lisa. Good stuff, good stuff. We have the other Lisa. I know you were just on. I'm like, Darren. I remember seeing Darren. Who's that? It's Tony. Oh, Peter, you don't look that bad. I know you're sick right now. You don't look that bad. Stop it. All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping on. I'll just run through that again real quick. So there is a hand raise function. If you guys have been in Zoom before, go to the react button, which is the heart. It says react and there'll be a raise hand little button there. If you are open to sharing your experience in whatever capacity and you want to talk, you want to share that, just raise your hand for me because that way I'll be able to see everybody come through that actually wants to talk. If you're happy just sitting in the background listening and just hearing what everyone has to say, also totally fine. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm confirmed it is recorded, so you can listen back at any time. So obviously, anything that you are sharing, please feel comfortable in doing that, knowing that it's also going to be recorded for the rest of the community to listen to. Um, and yeah, it's just an opportunity to talk, share your experience. Again, nothing that is discussed here is medical advice in the slightest. I'll say it again. It's just you ladies opening up the floor and sharing your own experiences with HRT, perimenopause, the changes that you felt, experienced, how you navigated that, the conversations you had, where did you go for help, what was some of the first signs or symptoms that you felt or experienced. So, um, good stuff. I will kick this off then and just give you a quick rundown of how I started my HRT journey because I don't know how many of you know or aware that I'm on full HRT, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. It was when I was about 36. Coming out of the post-COVID era, I was really starting to notice changes to my mood in the lead up to my period to the point where I actually just wanted to close the blinds and not talk to anyone. I didn't want to do check-ins. I did not want to get on a loom and like, I just didn't have it in me. Like I didn't have it in me. And it was conducive to my menstrual cycle. And at the time, I just thought, fuck, it's just post-COVID, weird phase of life, but it was consistent every menstrual cycle. And at the same time, I was starting to look into a little bit more. There was a few pages that were popping up on my Instagram feed, and I remember talking to and doing an Instagram live with Dr. Fatima Khan, who's based in Victoria, and having a conversation with her about HRT and menopause therapy and what sort of things were, it was symptom based. It wasn't based off like blood results. It was all about the symptoms. And I was like, all right. And I just started to track these things. I'm training, I'm drinking my water, I'm going to sleep, I'm managing my stress, I'm doing all of the things that general practitioners would tell me you need to focus on to feel better. I was like, well, I'm fucking doing all those things and I don't feel good. So what the heck is going on? And I was fortunate enough to have a conversation with Dr. Fatima Khan. We went on initially estrogen and progesterone. Honestly, within like the first 4 weeks, my next menstrual cycle, immediate improvement to my mood and well-being. My testosterone levels were like fucking non-existent, and I just put it down to dieting and competing and doing all those things, doing shows. But low libido was like again non-existent, not good when you've got a long-term relationship either. So went on testosterone cream, and again that picked up. So I was fortunate enough to have a little bit of knowledge. I was already starting to dive into that realm, and I had access to a GP that was specializing in this, that was prepared to help me and listen to me and not gaslight me and fob me off. And then, here I am now trying to help you guys navigate those conversations as well. And I think it's important for us women to realize that it's not just us being super stressed, overworked, burnt out, dealing with the stresses of just life, family, kids, whatever it is, because we all carry the load. There's like 7,000 tabs open all the time, and we're juggling all of the things. It's not just us not coping with life. There's some underlying hormonal shifts going on that actually make it a little bit more challenging. Um, so I want to open the floor because, oh my gosh, did all of the hands go down? Where are my hands? Beck, I know you're keen for Beck Jeffress. I know you're keen to chat, so I'm going to open the floor to you. And guys, hello, this is Beck. Welcome back, your support coach. All right, do I need to unmute you, or can you do that yourself?
Oh, I think I can do it myself. Does that work?
Yes, it did.
Yay. Hi guys. Good morning. Yeah, I can literally echo a lot of what Ella just said. My story was quite different. I had been on like the contraceptive pill since I was 16, and I didn't really go off it. Like there was a couple of periods here and there throughout the next 20 odd years where I went off it, but it felt awful, so I went immediately back on. But at the age of 38, like a lot of stuff was going on. I was like dealing with an autoimmune diagnosis a couple of years earlier. I have lupus. So yeah, like it was just like I was on this massive, okay, I'm going to like what is it? Renovate my whole life. And I'm going to like have everything optimized from the ground up so that I don't have to go on medication. I wanted to do everything as like holistically as possible, because I hated the idea of having to take meds and all that sort of stuff, having never been sick my whole life. So yeah, so I went on this whole like, health kick of like, okay, I'm going to like totally overhaul everything because I'd gotten away on being skinny forever. Like that was easy. You just didn't eat much and did everything and stayed skinny. Which was wild, when you find out that you've been like chronically under-eating for most of your life. Like, oops. So I went off the pill. That was a bit of an adjustment. I also ruptured my ACL, my first major injury in my entire life, and like a lot of other things. So in amongst all that, I was going through quite a depressive sort of state, but unsure of where it was coming from. Okay, I've just gone off the pill. Okay, I've just injured myself really badly. Okay, I've just overhauled and like changing my career and all that sort of stuff. Like, okay, I can understand where the depression might have come from. But the longer I went down the path of like rehabbing my knee, sorting out like being off the pill and being free range, like the more it persisted and the more each cycle, it just got worse and worse and worse, much like Ella said. But honestly, like I just played it off on all these other reasons for ages. And it wasn't until I hit like, I think 42, 43 even. And like my hair started to thin out a lot. Like I had fine hair, but I had loads of it. All of a sudden, there was like handfuls of hair in the shower. And it was like, panic making. Like, I'm handfuls of hair every time I wash my hair, every time I brush my hair. And then again, like the cycle just kept hitting harder and harder and harder in terms of like the emotional roller coaster that you were on. And like that affects your personal life with like partners and stuff like that. And yeah, it eventually got to the point where I would get to that week before my period and have such dark emotional thoughts that felt completely foreign to me. Like it felt like another person inside my head. Like that's not me. I'm sitting over there in my little happy chair going like, hey, whoa, 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 what's going on? But the emotional depressed person was in my head at that time. And I I went to the doctor and they draw the bloods and all that sort of stuff. And they say your levels are fine, your testosterone's a little bit low, but otherwise you're fine. And I'm pretty sure I white knuckled a whole year, just trying to like positive thinking my way out of it. I was doing all the things. I was like training like a mofo, like train. And I was like finally eating properly, obviously. But yeah, this was just before the year I started building before I made my FMG debut. So I finally realized that it wasn't me, and it was other factors that could have been contributing to it. And I started researching my symptoms, and all of it pointed to perimenopause, like itchy ears, itchy skin, wild sleep patterns, emotional dysregularity. I had a period of time of about 6 months where I had locked myself out of my apartment 4 times. 4 times when I've never done it. I've never left my keys in. I never lost anything. I've never lost my sunglasses, my keys, my wallet, my phone, nothing. And all of a sudden I locked myself out of the apartment 4 times in 6 months. Like the locksmith man had took pity on me one time and gave me one of the openings for free because I was like, I don't even know how I did it. I walked out to get some milk down at the shops, didn't even take my keys, slammed my door, got back with the milk in my hand and my phone and no keys and went, oh shit.
You need to drop me a spare key now. We're
I
neighbors.
know. I got to the point where my boss at work said, you have to leave a spare key here in case it happens. Because it happened one morning on my way to work. I left without my keys. I couldn't even get in my car because it was attached to my house keys. So I eventually found a doctor, sorry to waffle on. I found a doctor that had a reputation for, specializing in menopause and women's health and that sort of stuff. She's down at Woolaware Family Medical Practice here in Sydney, and she was amazing. She listened to me without like overriding and trying to like railroad where my thoughts were going. She just asked a lot of questions, like really set the time to dig deep into everything. And yeah, we started on estrogen and progesterone therapy. And then eventually we went into testosterone therapy. So I'm on all three. I only take the progesterone for the first half of not the luteal phase, the other phase. Follicular, that's the one. I had to teach myself how to woman off YouTube and TikTok. I didn't know how to girl. I literally didn't. I'd been a tomboy most of my life. And, like I had to teach myself how to girl and understand my own cycle, which is wild.
That's
Our
crazy. Well,
education system is very bad.
it is, and you know what? Just being on the contraception pill for such a long time, I'm sure there's probably many of you here now that can relate to that too. Like I was feared into going on the pill because my mum saw a bloody what do you call them, psychic that told her I'd be pregnant at 16, and I was like, there's not a fucking chance that's happening. So I was on the pill at like 14, like not happening. And then after the pill, it went to the injection, and then it went to the implant in the arm. So I was just on back to back like contraceptions until mm, when I came to Australia, I reckon I came off the implant and didn't get another one on, and then wanted to cycle naturally. And it was through cycling naturally that I started to tune into what the heck was going on, how my moods fluctuated around my period, how it settled. And then when it settled, when things heightened again, I knew exactly this is not fucking right. Something's going on here. That's wild. Wild.
Yes.
Teach yourself how to girl from TikTok. Beck's got, I can't do TikTok, like my brain can't figure out another platform, but there seems to be a lot of stuff on TikTok that Beck shares, by the way.
So TikTok was my prep guilty pleasure to help me get through cardio. So
Wow.
like I do my cardio, but I get to have TikTok while I do it.
How
It's
did
kind of
you
like a little
find
reward.
how did you find your GP, Beck? You said that you figured out there was something else going on. Like what were the triggers for you to know, like, hold on a second, this isn't just me? What was that for you?
It was just like as I said, a load of symptoms hitting really hard. Like the hair loss was, I think was the first one, then the sleep, then the emotional stuff as well. And like they just started adding up more and more and more. And it was just like, oh, one or two I can sort of like brush off stress, family issues or a relationship breakdown.
Mm.
But the more they piled on after these events, the more I sort of had to go, well, it's
Yeah.
not like
It's got to be
something
something else.
causing it. It has to be something that's happening internally. And then you start looking up, your age and your symptoms in Google, and then Google points to a few things, and then you start looking in TikTok, and TikTok obviously listens to your phone. Algorithms listening. So then you start getting these targeted sort of things, and the more you watch those, the more other ones come and find you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, but like perimenopause symptoms, I read at one point there was about up to 127 different
So
symptoms that
many.
could point to perimenopause.
So
I
many.
found out that women who are neurodivergent are more likely to get it up to 10 years earlier than the average woman. And the average woman can get her start perimenopause from as early as her late 30s.
Yeah.
Not 50, which was what I thought. Like, hey, it's 50, 60 when you get your peri, get into the menopause kind of thing. No, late 30s it can start.
Yeah.
And on average, most women get it, like are hit with it when they reach their 40s.
Yeah.
And it can be up to 10 years,
It was yep.
which was just like,
Lisa, you've asked here in the question box, you both mentioned about going from estrogen and progesterone and then adding testosterone. What made you both make those decisions? Well, for me, it was the low libido and the readings of like the testosterone levels that you can actually test from your bloods was like freaking almost off the chart and just like no sex drive, like at all. And I just played that down to just constantly being in dieting phases leading into shows because there was just like 10 years of my life where I was just competing back to back. Dipta. um, so I just assumed it was just through the peaks and troughs of being in deficits, when you've got no freaking food coming in, your energy expenditure's low, like what's gonna go? 100% libido's gonna go, but it just never came back. So that was my decision for opting for that. And luckily I had the support of Dr. Fatima Khan that would prescribe that because we don't think it's actually common for GPs to prescribe androfem to women that are under 40. Also, it's like, why the fuck not? What about you?
mine was because, so I was, um, so the sex drive kind of thing was not a real factor because I was in a period of like, I went about 2.5 years of being celibate. It was a very toxic breakup, the last one. So I was quite burnt. So it was like a personal celibacy kind of thing. But it started getting bad when I would notice that my energy throughout the day and my desire to do anything just went, nah. As soon as you sat down, that was it. If you had anything planned, tough bickies because you've sat down now, and that means we do nothing.
Yeah,
And that was horrific for me because I was always so active, full of energy and doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden to have like zero energy was crazy.
yeah.
My testosterone was point 0.1,
Mm, mm,
0.1. My doctor prescribed me the Androfem, and to be honest, like I was desperate to feel better very quickly because I was prepping. I was probably going a little smidge over on the dose every day. It was helping, but then when we tested after show, my testosterone had gone to 5. So she said that's a bit of a steep increase. So we cut the dose to. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I feel amazing. But like because this is the other part. I never had any baselines. I never knew what my testosterone was ever.
yeah,
Ever. We're never tested on this. We're never like it's never a marker for us, which I think is a crime. Men, like most men know what their testosterone levels are. You ask them. Like most guys that go to the gym, they know.
no,
They know what their testosterone levels are.
yeah,
Women, we have like they go, we have no idea. We have no idea because our hormones fluctuate, and we have no idea because like there's a societal, I don't know, what's the word? Where they like society doesn't want to know what women's hormones are.
no.
Like they don't want to know that we have a period, let alone like that we have hormones and shit. So you know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's like this, like, shh, don't talk about your
Don't
hormones.
talk
They're
about that. Yeah,
bad.
yeah. Well, we are now. We are.
Yes.
Peter,
So
you've
I
got
went
your
on the
hand up.
testosterone for the energy.
Let's go to you, Peter.
Yeah. I was just going to ask, do you girls still get your period?
Oh, yeah.
Do you still get yours back?
So I competed in 25 twice. I went in June and then in September. I got my period in February 25 and then didn't get it again until January 26. So 11 months I didn't have a period. Then all of a sudden I got one. Then I
Yeah.
missed it for 2 months. Then I got it 2 months in a row. So
Yeah.
I'm probably at the far end of my perimenopause, realizing that I probably started symptoms at 38 and I'm now 48. So I'm probably at the
Mhm.
far end.
Mhm.
But I am still like even throughout that 11 months where I wasn't getting a bleed, I was still getting all of the symptoms. So the luteal phase would hit. I'm ugly, I'm hideous, I'm the worst person in the world. I should just lay in bed for 2 weeks straight. And then boom, you'd feel the luteal phase would release and you'd feel normal again.
Mm. I was
Um,
gonna ask, how do you know? Because I haven't had my period now since Easter, and I have no idea what's part of my cycle I'm on now. I've just started with the patches, literally 3 weeks ago. Best thing ever I've done. I
awesome.
had hot flushes so badly, like it was
Yeah.
I was so I think Dipta's experienced me having a hot flush near her, and it was horrible. It felt like pretty much every hour on the hour I was having a hot flush. I counted, like I was tracking on my Aura ring, 15 hot flushes in one day, and I was just constantly hot, cold, hot, cold. And with this cold weather coming in, it was just horrible.
Mm.
Couldn't count the ones at night time when I was sleeping because you're trying to sleep, and that was messing up my sleep as well. So after 2.5 weeks of being on the patches, I'm so grateful that I've started them. But I am curious about, you did mention something about that you change your cycles around. I know it's probably early for me because I don't even know where I am in my cycle at the moment. So but yeah, I'm on the patches. So I don't even know the medium dose patches. So yeah.
What
I
did you
have
mean
them
by
here.
what did you mean by change your cycles? What did you mean by
Well,
that?
because you're saying that you miss your
Oh, I don't take
follicular phase,
progesterone. Yeah, I don't take progesterone during my luteal phase, which is when you're coming
luteal.
in towards your bleed.
Yeah.
Um, I use to be honest, when I stopped going on the pill, I realized I needed another way to track like my period because I never had to before. It was all in the little packet. You take it on the normal days, and then when the red ones come, you have a period. Um, so I use a period tracker. I use Clue. There are a bunch of other ones out there, but Clue works really well for me. And Clue have switched. They've got different modes. You can go into like perimenopause,
Oh,
just
great.
tracking your period, conceiving kind of thing, pregnancy, and then actual like menopause and stuff like that. So there's different modes you can put in there, and there's loads of different symptoms you can like track, and you can choose which ones are more like applicable to you. So I was just following the pattern. A lot of perimenopause and like your cycle is trial and error because if you've never tracked before or you never really understood your cycle, you kind of have to go through that learning phase. So for me, yeah,
Definitely.
it's just
Definitely
using the track.
tracked. I've been tracking for years because I was trying to fall pregnant and that just didn't happen. But yeah, I noticed like after all the miscarriages and everything, the menopause started, like the perimenopause symptoms like really started kicking off like really hardcore.
Mm.
Um so yeah, I was just curious like as to, yeah, because I've been tracking for ages, but I have no idea now because my period was never, it was like every 21 days, like literally every, I'll have 2 weeks and then I'll have a period. And then a week of having my period, and then it'll be another 2 week cycle. So every 21 days I had mine. It was just shit. But saying that, it only lasted three to 4 days. So wasn't horrific. But yeah, now I have no idea because I don't know where I'm at. And I've got the Aura ring, so I'm tracking my body temperature, and that I still can't even tell where I am because normally my body temperature would go higher and then
Mm.
drop just before I would get my period. My body isn't even doing that at the moment. So I'm up that
It's
creek with
like,
no paddle
That's
at the
fabulous.
moment.
Track
Yeah.
your like the biggest thing you could do, Peter, is tracking your daily symptoms, which is hard when you've been on and off sick for like bloody
Mm.
fucking 2.5 weeks or whatever it is now. But like daily, like to actually create that awareness around how you're feeling. Like I had GI issues today. When I look back at what I ate yesterday, there was nothing in there that would cause that. Okay, red flag. I'm freaking like I'm so tired today. I can barely keep my eyes open, but I went to bed and my aura ring is saying I slept really well. Okay, like you have to just be like a bloody
Mm.
scientist of your body now to literally check in every single day of like how are you feeling, what's going on, what's changed, is there a reason for that change? That's probably gonna be the biggest thing. Yeah.
Digestion was another one I forgot. Like, there's so many symptoms, but digestion changes. Like, I was a garbage gut, so I could eat whatever I wanted. Like, nothing would affect my tummy. KFC maybe, but I rarely ate that. So, um, it was like going from being able to eat everything to all of a sudden, like your window was just like, nope, you can eat this only.
And
Anything outside
generally,
of that, and it's bad
yeah,
news.
gluten was a big factor. I
Yeah,
was
gluten and dairy.
oats every day, no issues. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, it was like, nah. And I've said this to so many of you girls that eat this for breakfast that when I all of a sudden like my guts are so bad right now, and it's like you almost and you've never had a food intolerance in your entire life, all of a sudden have to change your dietary behaviors and actually opt for more gluten-free, not so much dairy, but also prioritizing your dietary fats because they're super important for hormone health. So it's like all of these fucking things going on, and then now you have to change how you eat and be more organized and more prepared for that to make sure that your whole environment is actually conducive to like feeling good and supporting that. Yeah, it's frustrating. Kylene, we're with you. Oh, yeah, there. Where are you going? When she's like, how do I unmute myself?
I don't know what I'm doing. So you ladies are all, it's evening here. You ladies are all in Australia. So it's very different for me in America. And secondly, I'm full menopause. I don't know if anybody knows that. So I had my ovaries taken out in about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Now, maybe it's 2.5 years ago. Before that, I couldn't track my periods or anything like that because I also had a history because I had cervical cancer in '08. So the funny thing is you guys talk about symptoms. My symptoms was in the middle of divorce. And Ella knows this. I cried every day. No, I mean, it was like I was in the deepest, darkest hole ever. And then I got my ovaries taken out. And then that's why I said, you know what? I should really get on HRT. And they gave me I was on the patch for a little bit, got divorced, life got so much better. And so then I didn't do the patch anymore. And then went on also on after that, I did get on testosterone cream and stuff like that. My symptoms have been very different. I have severe night sweats, like severe. And the funny thing is I work nights as a nurse. I don't get them when I sleep during the day. I do not get sweat. Yeah, it's the funniest thing. I don't get in that. Then I've also noticed that when I started back on HRT, that before that I was starting to throw PVCs, which is preventricular contractions with my heart, and so with stress would affect that. So I've really had to learn to manage stress. I've gotten away from the gut stuff. I went on a whole 30 days to track my food and reset my body because I've noticed that once you're in menopause, the premenopause, because I have zero hormones at all, that it really is based on food, exercise, sleep, and managing your stress. Yes, the hormones help out, but after being in full blown menopause, honestly, guys, it sucks. But it's truly food and cutting out like refined sugar. And I love sugar and I love fast food and I love fat. So it's been really really hard, but
She hates vegetables. It's
I hate vegetables. I hate them like with a passion. Like I would rather eat all the fruits in the world and have maybe green beans once a week.
no,
So
you know better.
I know better. I said I could, but
Oh dear.
but that's me for as far as menopause. I don't think I ever really felt any of those premenopausal feelings, or maybe it was just when I was in marriage, it was just survival mode
Yeah.
with the emotions because I've had all those emotions. And so now menopause, it's very different than before I had the ovaries taken out for sure.
It's also so interesting because you think you go through the peri stages in your late 30s into your 40s, and then you'll hit 50 and menopause will come, and then you'll be like, fuck you, it's gone.
No,
Well, actually, no, it's not.
no. It really truly sucks. I mean it sucks. I won't get a hot flash, but I'll get hot flashes a couple of times at night, but not so bad anymore. I'm talking with my doctor. So for here in the US, if I wanted to be on testosterone, none of our doctors will give testosterone unless you want to get it illegally. Yeah. They'll give you all the other stuff, but then you have to go to a one of the pharmaceutical places. But that costs us, I'll tell you this, if I wanted to do HRT with the testosterone a month is $800.
Oy.
So that's what I'm saying is like, I wish I was like with because over there it's like everybody's a little bit more open minded. Here it's the the pharmaceuticals drive the hormone replacements and stuff. Yeah. And
Wild.
like I said, if I want to go get it illegally, I'll go get it.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, $800 a month.
There's nothing about the medical system that's there to support us, is it? Like it's just
No, no. And I mean, they'll give you the little blue pill. They'll give men the little blue pill, but they won't give,
mm,
hormone replacement for women.
yeah, it's mad, absolute madness. Well, thank you for sharing. Does anybody else have a
Absolutely.
conversation they want to share, an experience they want to share? Anybody? Any takers? Any takers? Dipta, you want to share? He's like, nope, nope. Does anybody have any questions? You can, if you don't want to talk, you can pop them in the chat. Veggie smuggling.
I'm sorry, but I cannot hide veggies. I know they're there.
Yeah, men's testosterone in Australia is 10 times cheaper than for women. It's wild, isn't it? Oh, it's wild. I will say though, like Josh has gone on TRT therapy, and it was really hard for him to get on it, even through the GP, because although, like, bearing in mind, guys, the ranges are like this. He was down the low end of the range. He was considered normal. So if you're on the spectrum at all in any capacity, if it's like a point naught 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 oh one of being normal, you're still normal. So they won't do anything. And there was a clinic at the Fitness Expo specifically for men that were like doing all these bloods, and you can get prescription TRT therapy through this particular clinic. And of course, it was very expensive. But that was the only way he could get on TRT therapy, like, because, and not for like wanting to look jacked. Being a shift worker, your circadian rhythm is so out of whack, and it was something like what you said, Beck. The drive and motivation to life was non-existent. Like, so you come back from shift and he's like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to train. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do anything. Getting on TRT therapy, having to go through this particular clinic to get the prescription for it, like immediate change in just motivation for life. Like that was it. And so even for men, whilst it is definitely easier for them to get their prescription for it, it is as soon as you're on the range, it's impossible. And unfortunately, the ranges are based on general population, and well, the general population is getting sicker and sicker. So the ranges get lower and lower. So for all of us that actually give a shit and look after ourselves and want to, feel better, it's even harder for us to get that help because those ranges are getting smaller and smaller. It's really frustrating. Lisa, Gov went to a specialist for his tea after the GP saying he was totally normal. The specialist was like, I don't know how you're functioning.
Yeah, and he's a very high performance sort of guy. He's, specialist military background. He's always been driven, and then all of a sudden he's like, I sit down and I sleep.
It's that lack of energy, no drive, no motivation. And again, we all just brush it off, men and women, we just brush it off as just the stress of life. Like we're just doing all the things and just tired from life. But it's like, oh, are you? Like, is there something else that can help just get that little bit more the zest for life back? Like, and what's the impact to that, to your quality of life and long term with that, I felt like I have narcolepsy. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a wild ride. I actually spoke to somebody yesterday that's been on Androfem, the testosterone cream, for about a year, 18 months, and like she was on like had no testosterone and been on this cream for like a year to 18 months, and now it's just like little like a point one, like it's still fuck all. And because she's within range, she can't get any other assistance with it. And she was looking into realms of getting injectable testosterone for women. I was like, it doesn't exist. Like it does not exist. I wish it was, because the absorption rate for the cream is like how much of it actually, yeah, how much of it actually goes on your skin, and then you're just washing it off from your hands, or it's on your clothes. It's like, how much am I actually absorbing of this? It's the absorption rate is so small, but I also think the dose of testosterone for women is also so small that it would be impossible to inject it as well. So it's like we keep fighting uphill battle. It's a little bit. Um, Lisa, I noticed I'm smiling at random strangers again after a couple of months in HRT. Oh wow! So like small little things like that that you would never really notice about your day-to-day like demeanor and just your general well-being. Like I say morning to everybody that we walk past, like, and just being like you wouldn't necessarily notice those things are changing in you. That's wild.
Yeah, much
Wild.
more tolerant.
Very good. Very good. Who is a Samsung? Their hand is up to talk.
Yeah, that's me. This is Sedef. Sorry, probably my name is not up in there. So yeah, it's funny. So I've been thinking about this last couple of months. I've been having issues with the libido, and I just Googled yesterday, like, is it because of dieting? Am I peri-menopause? I'm 43,
Wait, who
and
are we talking to? Who's the Samsung? I didn't catch a name.
it's Sedef.
Oh, Sadef. I was like,
Yeah,
who is talking?
sorry. Oh, sorry. Maybe I brushed it off.
Carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, I started to look it up. Is it because I'm dieting? I went to the doctor actually, and she requested hormone tests.
Great.
But she prescribed me already like a testosterone cream. But I
Fabulous.
was a little, yeah, I was a bit, because there are side effects to it, but I don't know the baseline I have, whether I need it or not, or how much. I was a little bit cautious. Should I take it now? It was like $100. PBS doesn't really contribute, but it sounds like it's more affordable than America, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this conversation resonates with me quite some. It's great to hear everyone's experiences. Also, I think the difficulty is when you are facing into multiple challenges, not just dieting, not just menopause, other health issues, relationship. It's really hard to unpick what is causing what and what's not really causing the
You're
other.
right. Exactly right. Exactly right. This is why it's so important to track as much as you can. And this is why I have so many questions in the check-in form. So you might not understand why I'm asking for all this information, but I can start to look at the pieces of the puzzle when you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired. I just want to eat my freaking pantry. Like, oh my, I've got no motivation to train. That session was super hard. I start looking at everything. I'm like, okay, well, we're actually like ovulation time for you right now. This is correlated with what you said the same time last month. I can start seeing big picture things. Similarly, with your changes to your menstrual cycle, okay, well, your bleed was like 28 days last month and now it's 34, and you're showing me all these things. And then I look back at your feedback, like, what did you tell me last month? Are you having relationship issues? Are you having super high stress points at work right now? Like, is it stress related or is it something else that's going on? So the more you can be on point with the daily habits, non-negotiable when it comes to like your sleep habits, sleep hygiene, like protect your sleep at all costs. And I'll share a story in a second. But tracking your food, tracking your sleep, being on top of your training, like eating well, like doing all those things consistently, you actually can then rule out a lot of the other lifestyle factors that doctors will say you need to do. Because then when you go to the GP and you're like, I'm doing all of these things and I feel like this, they have no other alternative but to hear you and see, okay, well then let's get your bloods done. Let's get those checked. Let's maybe start some HRT. They can't tell you to go back and do all the things that you've already done. Does that make sense? Um, with regards to being cautious about starting your HRT, there's probably a few of you in here. Peter, I think you were as well. Like you're like, oh, I just want to try and do this naturally first before I go on and take the thing. Somebody else I remember talking to as well.
100%.
Yeah, it was like, oh,
I was actually typing it up.
Yeah,
I was actually typing it up to put it in the chat.
I think everyone's been cautious, and because the media as well, particularly around estrogen therapy, there was a study done like a bazillion years ago in women that were like 50 and 60 and the risks of breast cancer off the back of that study. They cut the study short, and that's the only information that went out into mainstream media. So all of a sudden, everyone's freaking terrified of taking estrogen because the risk of breast cancer are really high. Don't get me wrong, there are a risk of increased risk of breast cancer through estrogen therapy, but you get checked Go get your mammograms done. Like, particularly if you're over 40, go and get your mammograms done. Get your boobs checked. Monitor your symptoms. If you've got a history in your family, the doctor will ask that. They'll know then if this is actually an option for you. When it comes to testosterone therapy, like, I mean, the risk of like the downside of that, you might get some hair growth, but realistically, if you just put on an area of your body that doesn't necessarily grow hair, you're going to be fine and you're just going to feel it a million times better. Now you do it here. Yeah. So I always say, I think Lisa, you might have been the other one that was like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm a little bit nervous, I don't know." Just try. Because if you start your HRT and you start to notice some things that you're like, I don't really feel comfortable with this, you can stop. You can stop. But if you try and all of a sudden you feel $1 million, like that's a win. That's a win. So Sadef, please keep me posted on how all that goes, please. Very, very, very keen to hear the updates on that. Okay, sleep. This week, so I don't know if you guys know, but I do I'm gonna give you a laugh this morning. Are you ready for it? I know this is gonna be recorded as well. Haha, CPAP life. Welcome to my CPAP life. Yeah, this is what I sleep with every night. Why? Because I have mild sleep apnea. I snore, I stop breathing, and that CPAP has absolutely changed my life. Sleep, one of the most underrated things, and when you are struggling to breathe throughout the night and you don't use sleep devices like the nose strips, the mouth strips, the CPAP device, over time it can compound. I've been sleeping in the spare room because Josh has been sick, and I just was very lazy in bringing my CPAP over to the spare room. I maybe Wednesday had a very low day, and it's been a very long time since I've had a low day. And I was like, I have nothing to contribute this to because I'm like not anywhere near my period right now. That's just been and gone. There's nothing hormonally going on for me. This should be a very cruisy time in life, and it's not. And my coach very much kicked me up the arse and he's like, well, why have you not been using your CPAP? The hypoxia that's been accumulating over the last 3 weeks because I've not been breathing in my sleep properly has compounded, which has then impacted my mood, my mental clarity, and that is making me feel like shit. This is why I say like, protect your sleep at all costs, no matter what is required, like because it really can have a positive or a negative impact on everything across the day. And if just a couple of days of rubbish sleep, it will really knock you about. Anxiety, claustrophobic. Oh my gosh, I should show you the original. It had like a full face mask. It would cover like this. But I got to get my face up in the pillow. The duvet's got to be up around my face. So that mask would just pop off. So now I've got the nose thing. But yeah, welcome to my life, the CPAP life. Sleep meds, anything particular that works. I'm a Valium. I'm a big fan of melatonin. It's not something you can get over the counter in Australia. So I do order mine from iHerb. Big fan of melatonin, particularly if you're a shift worker as well. The best thing to help regulate your circadian rhythm. Magnesium glycinate is one of the most amazing supplements you can take for periods, PMS. Yeah, so magnesium glycinate, 100%. Yeah. Melatonin. What do we got here? Beck, what have you said? Ashwagandha. Oh, what's this other one? This is a different amino. L-theanine.
It was a combination. So ashwagandha and L-theanine work together to help like work on the relaxation receptors in your brain. It's essentially turning off that part of your brain that sort of does like that overthinking and being hyped up when you're trying to go to bed. So as a person with ADHD,
Yeah.
that's my wheelhouse there. So that worked really well for me in terms of helping me get sleepy. And get in the mood to go to sleep. Otherwise, I'd be just like, well, I'm not tired, so I'm not going to bed. Haha. Screw you, future me.
Yeah, yeah,
Present me is fine.
yeah. So relatable.
But yeah, it was just a supplement I found in like searching online. A lot of people were saying that with ADHD it was really good. And then I just got it at Chemist Warehouse. I'll find the thing and send a picture in the group chat later. But yeah, that was really good. And yeah, obviously magnesium game changer in terms of like everything.
Hmm.
There was something that was released a little while ago that said that like our diets are so magnesium poor that
No,
literally everyone on the planet could benefit from having a magnesium supplement. So I'm like,
100%.
noted.
Yeah. If there are two supplements I would be telling all of you to do, it'd be creatine monohydrate, and you can actually do high dose creatine for cognitive function and muscle, and then magnesium glycinate, whatever you want to call it. I think everything else is all like once you've figured out what's not running well or what's not working well, then you can start stacking all the other things. I think it was Sarah, she's like, I take my 7,000 supplements in the morning because that's what she's figured works for her. And when she deviates from taking one of them, it's like she notices the effects of them. Um, but yeah, if you were to do anything, those two would be a good one. And then ashwagandha is actually a really nice natural compound as well in terms of like the stress management and just helping that well-being. Um, talk of ADHD. Does perimenopause exacerbate things on that front? Yeah, Beck, go on. You can chat.
So this I want to like shout from the rooftops. I was doing everything right. I was low body fat, I was highly motivated, I was like driven, I was lifting a lot of weight, had plenty of muscle, loads of friends, all this sort of stuff. Like literally from the top to bottom, I was doing everything right. And I still got hit hard by all of these symptoms. I can only imagine what it's like for someone who's not managing half of what I was doing to go through that. So this is where like being in the gym and building muscle is going to be one of your biggest, biggest things to help you get through this. If I didn't have the amount of muscle that I did, I shudder to think how hard I would have been hit, like in terms of the symptoms, like over long term.
Mm,
So yeah, it was like wild to find out. Yeah, late diagnosis ADHD. So it's like, oh yay. But yeah, the effect of like the amplification of the symptoms, because it felt like I got them all concentrated rather rapidly, which I don't know if is a blessing or a curse or a bit of both, like depending
mm,
on the mood you're in.
mm.
So yeah, it was like managing things like so supplements were a big thing. Who did you mention before had their like 1,000
Sarah.
supplements? So I do the same. Mine is split throughout 3 doses throughout the day. So I've got my morning ones, my midday ones, and my evening ones because certain vitamins interfere with the absorption of other vitamins. So I had to make sure to optimize when I was taking them so that I was getting the most effect and support from them.
Mm,
Vitamin D is a massive factor that a lot of women should look into as well because your vitamin D affects your testosterone, and your thyroid and all that sort of stuff. So make sure that your vitamin D levels are being checked and your iron and iron absorption
Caution.
or your ability to be able to like absorb your iron because you can have high iron, but if your absorption's shit, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So lots of things like that, and your liver enzymes as well, like whether your bile is clearing enough, makes a difference to your digestion and your overall well-being as well. So lots of
Yeah.
factors which
If you
plays.
guys haven't had any regular blood work done for a little while, it's definitely worth hitting up your GP, just for a well woman check. Sometimes it can be hard to get bloods done because they want to know why, and you're like, because I want to know I'm healthy. Like that should be enough. Sometimes you have to just push a little bit. So if you are wanting and haven't had them done in a little while, you're not sure what to ask for, just let me know and I can give you some specifics. You can say, I want these things to be tested, please. Um, it's so beneficial because then you can see whether or not your vitamin D is low. You'll actually know for sure. And then, certain little things that you're noticing, like, oh shit, I'm actually tired all the time. Well, you might actually be slightly vitamin D deficient or, iron deficient. So rather than thinking just immediately, well, perimenopause, it could actually just be a nutrient deficiency. Again, which is why it's so important to have all of these things monitored, doing all the basics, eating well, support all this, that you can then rule out those things. Um, I was going to say something that's totally left my mind. Obviously, we're all talking, and I talk about this a lot with you guys, but have you got within your friendship circles, are you guys having these conversations? Are any of your friends also like going through this as well? Are they talking about certain things that you're noticing, or is like just no one talking about it? He's like, yeah, Peter, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Lisa. Yeah, that's good. I think, if you can have these conversations with women in your circles as well, like you might be a bit more clued up than the rest of them because you're actually on your fitness journey and you're taking a little bit more care of yourself. I noticed for me, like my friendship circle was like the polar opposite. So I'm looking at all these things. They're all older, and I'm like, you guys, like you can see that these things are happening. And they're like, oh, I didn't know. So it's just being able to help, I guess, provide that little bit of extra knowledge to the rest of your friendship group that then can also get a little bit of help and support rather than just thinking they're not coping. Good stuff. Questions coming through. Some people just love to make excuses and not doing anything about it. Yes, that's also true. Also true. School mum friends get together and end up having a swear fest about kids' husbands' work. And you just sit there, Dipter, and be like, you're all perimenopausal. You all know this, right? It's also funny when you're in like those types of circles for you guys that, the parents that you do end up going to like kids' freaking mums groups and whatnot and school sports, and you sit there and it's like a mother's meeting of all the things they want to bitch about, and you're just like, on the outside looking in going, gosh, I don't want to be a part of that. How funny. How funny. Anybody else got any questions or anything else they want to share? Floor is open. Just raise your hand and I'll see you pop up. No more questions in the chat. I haven't missed anybody. Yeah, alcohol, guys, like it's one of those things that you could totally like drink to the cows come home when you're in your 20s and absolutely not be impacted by it at all. When you're noticing peri symptoms, alcohol is going to knock you about harder. Also going to exacerbate your hot flashes. Actually, spicy food, hot drinks, they're all going to mess with you. But yeah, alcohol is like hard as it is to like reduce. Elise is like nodding away here as well. It is one of the major things that's going to really knock you about a bit. If you think about what alcohol is, it's essentially a poison going into your body, and your body is going to metabolize the alcohol before it deals with anything else going on. So your system's going to have to work a bit harder. So yeah, not only do you have to like monitor and tweak your dietary intervention and not fall like more gluten-free, low dairy, good sources of dietary fats, but you really have to limit your processed foods, your sugar consumption, and your alcohol if you want to feel good, because then if I have a wine, my sleep is going to be shit tonight, and I'm going to take that on the chin because I really want to fucking enjoy a glass of wine. Like then you're taking those risks, right? You're weighing it up. You're weighing it up, and you're going to accept the negative consequence to that. Frustrates me so much going to the doctor and getting asked, yeah. It's like I shouldn't have to tell you why. Like this, I want to feel good. Something doesn't feel good. Just test my freaking blood, please. Yeah. Did you have a question, Beck, or was your hand just flying?
Oh, I was, but Combat Barbie has a question about creatine benefits. So I
Ooh.
thought that's probably more important than what I was going to raise.
Combat Barbie is Beck. I love it. I love it.
I love the name. I love it.
Creatine monohydrate is one of the most research supplements on the market when it comes to strength and muscle, but there's also been some research with regards to cognitive function. So, and high dose creatine. So we're talking like 10 milligrams a day. The benefit to that on your cognitive ability, which can like the brain fog in peri, right? When you're just like, what the fuck? I walked into a room and I don't remember what I've walked in here for. It can really help with that. So there's two sides to that: muscle and strength, cognitive function. Like, just take the creatine, you'll feel better. Yeah.
I was going to raise there's a lot of talk about like peptides and all that sort of stuff out there. And look, that's an individual sort of, journey. And currently the fact that they are not like, regulated or legal here in Australia makes it a bit more risky. But is a lot of research to be paying attention to for future reference around peptide benefits for women, specifically during perimenopause and menopause.
Yeah.
So it's something to keep like aware of. But we're still waiting on like, regulations and approvals and all that sort of stuff here to make sure that they are, sourced and legally produced.
Yeah, you've probably seen so much on socials at the moment, like because every man and his dog is just happily talking about peptides and showing reels with them with a needle and stuff. It's like you guys like it's like you're openly talking about taking a class A drug at the weekend. Like, how is this talking about peptides any different? But there are clinics, there are actual and again, I don't know how, but there are clinics that, and I do have a few clients off their own back that have wanted to go down this route. I'm like, I will support you in wherever you go with this, but this is something you do on your own with the right help, support, blood tests, work with the practitioner. That's super important. And then you let me know what you're taking, when you're dosing, when you're not dosing, so I can at least monitor that in conjunction with everything else. And there have been a couple of peptides like CJC, BPC-157 that I actually have seen some fantastic improvements in physique recovery from a couple of these clients that are taking these through the appropriate channels. So that's just super important to highlight as well. Like whilst there's so much on the black market and it's still very, very much unregulated, not fully tested, it the peptide market looks kind of scary, but also kind of promising as well. It's like,
Yeah, we're like how we're getting it is sketchy, but the data behind it is super interesting.
yeah, it really is. But yeah, the anti-aging benefits, yeah, there's a lot of promise to it. So if it is something that you are once, if you've seen and you're like you have questions, I definitely do not have all the answers, but I can help put you in the right direction to go down that route responsibly if that is something that you want to venture into and research more, which I think is more important. Because yeah, there's a lot of shit like anything on the internet that's just like, yeah, peptides is the new rage, and it's like, well, just take a breath. Let's actually see what the heck is going on here. I'm a recovering wine snob. Because you. There's a few on here. Lisa, how are you going being alcohol free now?
Um, so interesting. 40 days now. It's the
She's like
longest.
40 days sober.
Yeah. I have had people ask me, will I drink like after I've done all the like, because I'm trying to doing the comp and stuff, and I don't know yet. It's an interesting one, but I know I do feel better if I'm honest with myself, which I have to be. Like I get quite a lot of anxiety, and I've just noticed I don't have that now. And every time when I've stopped drinking before for like a couple, like I've done, the month, no alcohol, all that stuff, but always gone back to it. I notice my anxiety is terrible.
So what was
Yeah.
alcohol for you before? Just like an outlet, like end of the day, just
It's
needed.
just yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly weekends. I don't really drink during the week because I have a huge job and it just wouldn't serve me, but weekends definitely.
Yeah.
And so it is that because like last night, Friday night, my husband goes, oh, it'd be nice to have a wine. And I was like, don't you dare.
God. At least he's supportive. Did he have one or did he crack one
No,
behind? He didn't?
No, he didn't have one. No, I said, don't you dare have one. So we're in this together.
That's actually good. Is he noticing any improvements as well? Obviously, being alcohol free, he's probably not aware as you are because he's not maybe tracking all of his things to know. But is he like, is there something maybe you're noticing about him being alcohol free now for like 40 days?
Well, he's pretty good. He's done months before. I'm probably the bad one. The two of us, like, have a drink
Negative
with me.
influence here.
Do you know what I mean? So he definitely does with himself. He says he feels 100% better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's all it is. And you realize when you actually take a step back from the things that aren't making you feel too good, all the fried food, all of the alcohol, all the things that are just so easy to go to and deviate to that we get in the habit of, when you take that moment to step back and actually have time away from it, you appreciate how much better you feel. What you'll notice, Lisa, when you start to do have alcohol back in your days and your weeks or whatever, you'll actually make the choice to drink less because I one glass of wine for me is good. Two glasses of wine, I'm like, why did I do the second? It tastes disgusting. Like the first one was, I have a tolerance, and you know that about yourself. So you actually enjoy that one or two whenever you do, and you probably will feel the effects much more severely from a smaller intake, and then you just over time you're like, I don't need this anymore. I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Yeah. It's like I'm a grown woman, but I still like lollies. And it's like, but they make me feel sick. So I'm like, why do I do this? Like the other week, I was like to Ella, I was like, I fitted the lollies in my macros. Like I was so proud of myself. And but then I felt sick. I was like, why did I even bother? Like it's a weird thing.
It's yeah. It's very
Yeah.
Kylene, are you still on or if she left now? She's probably left. It might be late. Eileen's still here. How do I see my participants? Anyway, I remember when we first started working together back in like 2018, did a similar approach. No alcohol for a little while so you can actually feel good, and then brought it back in again. She was like, oh no, do not feel good. It's like, yes, converted you. Very good. Yes.
Well, I just wanted to point out, like, those of you who are in relationships and that sort of thing, like, if your man is ever like, oh, you're so moody and all that sort of stuff, just remind him that for a man to experience just the luteal phase hormonal shift that women get, his testosterone would have to drop by at a rate of 125 years over a weekend for him to experience the same shift in hormones that we go through once a month. They are not conditioned to have to struggle and suffer the way we have, which is why they go, oh, just do this, just do that. Or I just cut out calories and I lost weight, or I just started going to the gym and I lost weight, or it's because they have one fucking hormone, sorry. They have one bloody hormone and it's quite steady for them. They get the same dose on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So just remind the guys that we are literally going through hormonal warfare and we are generals and they are little private soldiers. They're the plebs. Okay. They have never had to experience anything like we have.
Yeah.
So just a little grace for yourselves that, like, if your husband's doing it so much easier than you, even though he's the same age and he does all this stuff, like, talk to the hand, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to my perimenopausal hand.